Excuse me. Hello and welcome back. If you're following along and if you're not following along. Remember last time, I think it was the last video, we did the wash on the loincloth. Today we're going to use, remember I was showing you where, you could go around the hedges with the black and add shadow. Another thing you can use to do that effect with is inks. This is a game ink from Vallejo. You can get them from other places or companies make them. We're going to use a bit of this. So I've got a painting pad there, but it's probably a bit dirty, so I'm going to just use an old, this is just a milk carton bottle top lid, because I get through a lot of milk, drinking tea for the gallons. And what we're going to do here is we're going to paint this ink right under this extreme hedge. This is a brown ink. Just under this edge. This very point, this edge right at it, and inks are good for this as well. They're very good for Warhammer figures if you've got to do text on your banners. I'm going to pop a bit of this into the holes as well. These little recess things, just to darken them up. That's all that's required on this side. And now we'll look on the back side. There's a little bit more. Again, we're just going around the hedge. It's just to darken where the wash went, basically. Of course, the wash, because we thinned the wash, it's not as dark as we really require it, so we're just going to do this to add a bit more definition, really. You don't have to go mad. And again, try and get some of these holes, because they're still a bit, not quite as dark as they should be. Another thing I did do, which I didn't film, if you remember, I said that you could add a little touch of buff to the end of the growth coming out of his arms, right on the very end. I have done that with the buff. You could also go round with this loincloth, joins the leg if you wish. I got a bit carried away there. And it will just darken the line off. Painting on camera is a lot more difficult than not painting on camera. I'm trying to hold this so you can hopefully see something, which is not always ideal for where I would hold it if I was painting it myself. I'm going to do the same on this front part, just around this leg, and on the other side as well. I think it's not too bad on the other side actually, it's just quite dark there already. But yeah, that's it for that. And that's all we need to do for that. I mean, we could come in and do another highlight on the brush. If you wonder why I'm wiping my brush and I've got a tissue on my leg. So yeah, that'll be all we need to do for that at the moment. As I say, it's eBay bound, it's not majorly important. We're going to slightly highlight with the metal as it touches the body at the top, because it is looking probably a bit darker than we'd like. Around this hedge here. We don't need to go crazy. This is again, it's a model here from the metallic range. This is a gunmetal. They're very good. I think I might have mentioned it. The model here colours are very good from Vallejo. I've just got to the tops, not too much, because we don't want them to look brand new. just so we definitely know this is metallic and it's not. She's looking a bit, probably a bit grungier than, you know, it needs to be. Although I suppose in reality it would be really grungy. We just want to make sure we know this is metal. Just the odd touch here and there. That's all you need. You don't need to paint the whole link. Just a little bit. Just to give it this hint of what it was before it got to the stage it is now, obviously. And we're going to do the same on this little bit of the old armour that's remaining on his body. Just on the very top, we don't need to worry too much. We just give the impression that that was once metal. We're not doing the bottom of it, just the top. As in this occasion we are going to act as if the light is only coming from above and not below. And it will dye a bit darker. I have done a few of these bits already, but just the odd little bit here and there, there's no matter. So yeah, that's all we need to do on that. Just to make sure we knew that was once armour plate. It's probably this bit as well. Up here. Again, just on the top. Nothing major. We don't need to go crazy. Just the slightest bit of there. And that'll probably do actually, we don't want to go mad. Else we'll make it too shiny. It will rather take away from, you know, what we've been working to do, making it look dirty and old. So that's that for that. I did mention, at least I think I mentioned, that we may highlight the flesh, some of the flesh areas. I did go over the veins a little bit, and I am going to pick out a couple of areas just on the chest. Now this is only just to give a slight highlight. It's nothing, you don't need to do it, and I'm not even sure I want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. I don't want to use the buff, I'm going to go on colour. This is just a basic skin tone, any skin tone will do, but this is one we use, you know, as part of the base colour, so that's the reason we're using it. We're just going to put one blob of that in there, and we have the glaze medium, which is a Vallejo colour as well. Yeah, the glaze medium, which is basically, it's a bit like, the glaze is basically a bit like a wash, only it's not a wash, it dries shiny as well. What it's good for is turning colours together as well, and making thin coats of paint. Basically what a glaze is, it's a thin coat of paint. And this glaze, and this will also dry out a lot slower. I put 2 drops in now, I'm going to put another drop in. I don't want it too thick. I don't want to actually paint the flesh on as flesh. I just want to put a very thin light coat on if possible. And this will be thin and pretty transparent as well. We don't need the ink, so I can get rid of that. So yeah, basically what I did earlier, You can see it a little bit. I just went over these vein areas. Just very lightly over them. Not flashy. Because this is quite transparent when you put a glaze medium. So it does tint it, but it doesn't, if you can see what I mean, it doesn't colour it flash. If I just use flash on its own, it would be looking like flash now. But of course this is a glaze, the colour underneath, depending on how many times you do this, still shows through the glaze colour. But the glaze colour you had does have a slight effect. May think more when I do this neck bit. I'm going to just paint these, just these bits that come down. I'm going to paint at an angle that's very foreign to me here. If we start there, we'll go down here. I'll say over here. We'll just go one and down there, like so. I mean, I don't know what it shows on the camera, but it does very, very slightly change the effect of the colour you had. And I'm going to do these as well. These ridge areas on his chest. I mean, obviously you can go over this a couple of times. What it does do is it darkens the colour, or changes the colour slightly, with every application that you put on. And the advantage here with this particular figure anyway, is if you make it too light, if you go, say you go too far with your applications of this, you can just go over it with the Rifle Flash and it will blend it down, because we've already done, remember we've already used the Rifle Flash on this area to tone it down already. So if you went over it again, you would simply tone it down a bit more. But we're just doing this. You don't have to hit every bit again. We're just trying for a slight lightening, very slight, not majorly lightening. Let's just lighten it a little bit. Now the glaze medium takes longer to dry than a paint, so do bear that in mind. That if you use this glaze medium, you will have to allow a little bit more drying time. I mean, you could go over the flesh areas as well, but yeah, you just basically, I mean, if you made this glaze a bit thicker, I mean, I've got a lot here, it would just thicken it up. A bit like I say, we're just adding a slightly lighter coat of colour, this flesh colour, but the colour underneath is going to shine through the glaze. So there it looks slightly lighter to the natural eye, you can still pick the colours underneath through the glaze. Now we don't want to overdo this, because it will dry a bit darker than what it's looking at the moment. It does take a bit longer to dry, as I said. We'll just go over these one more time. And that will probably do for now, because what the best thing to do is to, have a look and see what you ended up with. And if you're happy with it, call it a day. Because at the end of the day, that's the thing about painting, you have to know when to call it a day. We're going to do a bit of these flesh areas as well, just on the tops, because it's a glaze, it's very thin. And that's really all we've got to do. Oh no, no we didn't. We've just got to do these bits as well, so I mean, I'll do them. It will just, it'll look shiny at the moment. You could go over the hands with this as well if you wanted to, because remember the hands have been washed. So, I mean, if you went over, say, this part, it will very, very, very slightly lighten it up. It won't be a massive amount, but it will slightly lighten it. It's very hard to pick up with your own, with a natural eye. I mean, you can probably already tell that although that looks lighter a little bit, it's not overly done. It's not like there's a, you know, a flash painted line across that area, because you can see the other colours through. It's just lightened them. That's really what a glaze can do. You can also blend colours down. If you had a dark blue to a, say you had a dark blue and you went down to a very light blue or even a white, and then you put a glazed wash over it, it would blend those in. You know, and the more layers you put on, the more it would blend them down. That's how it works. Glazes can be very useful because they're just naturally very thin. I mean, it's just the way they are. But they are useful, and you can always find useful uses for them. But yeah, so that's basically what the glaze is going to do. I mean, we will let that dry. I would let that dry now, having applied the bit, even that little bit I've applied. I would let it dry and I would have a look at it, and if it's fine, and to me it's looking probably fine, you probably could do one more coat on that, but I wouldn't unduly worry about it. It's looking okay. Maybe one more. I mean, you could pick these little bits out if you want with the glaze again, if you wanted to add a little bit more light flesh at the sort of the crown of it, the top. I don't know whether I want to do that because I don't want them to look too human. You could do the same on these if you wished. All these areas, you can do as much as you like. We have a couple of things to do. The eyes are, as you can see, the eyes are black on this figure at the moment. It's just got black painting, as are the nostrils. The nostrils are staying black, we're not doing anything with those. I mean, we could do the red this side of here. You remember we put the dark red on before the black red. So we might do that. I have got a colour that I actually got. I don't know why I bought these paints a while ago. I think these are from Army Painter. Came in a box set that I got. Abomination Gore for the Zombicide. Like I've said in a previous video, I do own the Zombicide game, but like most things I never get to play with it. I've only played with it a few times. I've painted the main, you know, like the heroes, but not painted any of the zombies or anything for the game I had. I mean, it's like this figure here. I've painted about 6 of these. 2 for, this will be the second one that I'm just going to put on eBay just for the hell of it. And the others were commissions on eBay, so, well, no, not on eBay, the others were commissions. I think 2 were by eBay. We're just going to add a few bits of this, because we're going to add blood to this, but we just want to, just slightly, I mean you could just gently rub across. I mean really use the dry brush for this. Don't regularly run your brushes across things like this, because these are only cheap brushes, as I've said before, but don't run your best brushes across too much like this, because you will ruin them. You just will. Yeah, there's not a lot of paint on it, just, we're not really dry brushing, we're just trying to pick up the really high raised areas on that. That's all. We could do this on the teeth as well. just on the top. Remember, we'd use the dark red on here as well. So I've just add this a little bit. The reason for this, as I've said earlier, will be come clear later, and we're going to do a bit on his face this time. We didn't do this with the dark red, the black red, but we're going to do it with this colour. Just go around his actual jaw, his jawline, or his mouth line, whichever you want to call it. I think that will do. We'll do a bit at the bottom as well. Yeah, because we want a bloodied effect. We are going to do, we probably will do the claws as well, but I'll do them all in one. So it'll be like a refresher while we did the blood. But yeah, for now, that's where we are. We've done the silver. We've put a little line underneath there. We could come in and go with a lighter highlight on here if you wanted to, just so it pops out. Same thing with everything, highlights just make things pop out, whether it be on a face or whatever it's on. But yeah, that's where we are at the moment. I'm not sure if to do his eyes red. I've got this gold paint available. I might do. Yeah, I think I will do. So we'll just, not too much paint on there. We'll just put a little tiny drop. We're trying to leave get enough paint on it. I might have to thin this down. It's just quite thick actually, this paint. Yeah, we just want a little dot in there, because it's very small, the eye, I've got to be honest with you. The size of the model, the eye's just a little tiny dot. We did get a bit on the skin there, which was a bit careless of me. Should have done it from this angle, but I was trying to be clever. Get my brush. If you do things like that, you wet your brush or your finger, if you remember this figure's been varnished a couple of times. Just try and keep that area wet. We'll get a bigger brush for that. Just get a wet brush. Use a bigger brush if possible, because it will pick more of the stuff up. So use a wet brush. Just go over this area. I'm going to use a bit of tissue as well. And just gently dab it on. Preferably if you feel this figure's been varnished, so I'll get away with it a bit more. So, yeah, be careful. Don't do what I just did. Yeah, I'm leaving that in. I could edit that out, but I'm going to leave it in. Yeah. So yeah, we're going to put a little blob in his eye. Hopefully that's dry enough. It was a lot easier from that angle, wasn't it? Anyway. There's his eyes done with that. We could add a bit of white on that as well. We'll come back to that later. Because we really want to sort of define the eye at the moment. Just no. We will come back in here with another red.